Welcome to see, like I gotta always come in with better energy. Welcome to
The Jiggy Show, where jiggy people do jiggy things.
the Jiggy Show. I am your host, Bob Smooth. We're back. Those that are watching this, they're probably y'all like a little bit confused. Like this man keeps changing up the setting. He's very inconsistent, but I'm inconsistently consistent. So we brought back the table, and I have a special guest today with me, Talithia Morris. She's gonna help me and y'all make better life decisions, and that's why she's here today. And I'm gonna let her introduce herself and give a little description about and who she is. Talithia, stage is yours.
Okay. Hi, I'm Talithia. I am a real estate agent as well as an investor. I started real estate, both parts 2 years ago. Actually, I was just thinking about it. It literally, as of March 2017, so it's literally been 2 years at this point.
So how's it been? How's it been so far? How's these 2 years been?
It was challenging at first.
Mm-hmm.
Now I kind of roll with the punches, but initially when I first started out, it was challenging, and I think I caused it upon myself. So I am religious, and so when I started real estate as a realtor, I prayed for patience because I didn't really have patience. And I knew that about myself. But I think God gave me scenarios where I had to exemplify patience, and I wasn't prepared to do that. I just wanted patience going in. So I was thrown everything under the sun as far as different situations where it was stressful and I wanted to quit. Honestly, I did. But I had a larger goal in mind of helping others. So I stayed on track with it. So now when different issues arise, I've already tackled everything under the sun, so I'm okay.
Nice. And now we're here today, 2 years later, and she's out here just killing it. And she's gonna help me also kill it too. And because I'm 26, a black male, doesn't like have much property owned, and like I spend my money on shoes and clothes, just dumb stuff that I should stop. So I need you to help me out here. So how can me as a 26-year-old go in and like start investing in real estate? What do I need to know? How do I start? Where do I go?
Well, or just the investing side?
First, just the investing side. Yeah.
So I would say that you can look into, everybody goes on YouTube and all this stuff, right? When I was searching to become an investor, I think everybody has that issue where do you go to start doing it? So I happened to stumble upon somebody that had flipped a property that my sister was looking to purchase, and this was about 2.5 years ago. Okay. So whenever she was touring the house with us and so forth, she kept saying, yeah, we did this to the house. And I was just like, you keep saying we, do you own this house, you know? And she was like, well, sort of. I flipped properties, and I was like, oh wow, like I want to flip too, you know. So
can you explain the flipping property? What does that mean exactly?
So you purchase a property at a discount, and you make sure the numbers work on your end, that you will profit from it in the end once you've put the money in to renovate it. Okay. So I didn't know how to do it, but I mean, people see the TV shows and stuff like that, so I just wanted to learn how to do it. So I actually offered her I was like, can I pay you to, show me how to do it? And she said, well, she was a real estate agent as well, and she said, well, I really need help with my transactions and so forth, so you can help me with that, and then in turn I'll show you how to do real estate investing.
Nice. And this is prior to you being a real estate agent?
Yes. Okay. I actually became a real estate agent because of her. Okay.
Shout out to sis.
No, I'm sorry?
I said shout out to sis.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. I can thank her now. There were some times I was mad at her, but I can thank you. So, I actually I was helping her,
Uh-huh.
and then she was just like, you can help me with more if you have your license.
Okay.
And so I was like, okay. So I started looking at how I can get into taking the classes and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I was supposed to join with her brokerage initially, but when I started taking the classes, I felt that I should be with this other brokerage that I had taken the classes with because of what their the meaning behind their brokerage is. So it's God first and family in your business.
Nice.
So with
Nice.
Keller Williams. So when I did that, then I was helping her on the investing side, and she was all over the place, and I was like, she can get in some trouble like with the stuff she was doing. And so, and my brother had helped her out with a couple things to get a little bit of extra cash. And he was just like, look, I'm telling you now, the only thing you can learn from her is what not to do. So I said, okay, well,
Honesty, I like
I believe it though. But at that point I had my license, and I still didn't know real estate investing because she was paying people to manage her properties that she was flipping at the time, and come to find out they're like in West Virginia at home, and she's paying them, and they're just sitting at home collecting money pretty much and not monitoring the project. So you do want somebody on site whenever you're having a property flipped. If you don't have, it's hard to find trusted contractors. So you do want somebody there just checking on everything, making sure they're working, or even there.
Yeah.
I remember one time she had us pick up we went by there, we had to get a ceiling fan for the living room or something. And I was like, why are you doing this? Why isn't, like,
You're paying
can't they just
somebody.
can't they just go down the store and get one? And she's like, so anyways, we went to go pick it up. Went to go drop it off. The property manager was supposed to be, project manager, sorry. He's supposed to be at the property, and they were supposed to be delivering the appliances that day.
Okay.
Well, he wasn't there, neither were the appliances, but on the lockbox, there was like a code. She was like, is this the code to the lockbox? So basically, the project manager had left the code for the people to drop off the appliances. So I don't know if he even had been on site at the project, but he was getting paid.
Okay, so like not so organized. So you pretty much, what you learn not to do is you need to have a team that's ready to be there on site and all that. Just organize and make sure everything is going smoothly.
Yeah, that team word. So
yeah,
it's hard to trust people to do what you would do yourself.
Okay.
So
how do we trust people
good question.
in this business? Like, how can you trust people in this business?
I think they really have to prove themselves up front before trusting them to handle anything, because it's like your reputation is your business, and then you're trusting people, you're delegating things out to them, but you have to trust that they're going to actually like follow through and do what they committed to do. So I've had people that, and it's always my name on the line at the bottom of it, and I have this thing where I have to be involved somewhat, not a micromanager, but a micromanager. So, but it, like I said, it's my business, though.
Yeah.
So, and then I don't want to be paying somebody that is given access to the appliance people delivering, appliances. So, I think you could you can get impressions from people whenever you first meet them and stuff, but I don't like to go solely on that, because it can kind of be, sometimes it could be
people can fake it.
People can fake it, or some people may have certain insecurities, but it might not necessarily mean that they can't get it done. So I think it's just something, it takes time to trust anybody, like any type of, even a relationship, friendship or a lover or something. Yeah.
Okay. So like, all right, let's get to the legal side of things now. Okay. You mentioned that you got your license as a real estate agent. Why was it so important for you to get your license as an agent, and going to that and transitioning to become a real estate investor?
Well, one thing is, one myth or whatever you want to call it is, a lot of people, they say, hey, I want to get into real estate investing. And then they're like, I'm going to be a real estate agent. And you don't have to do both.
Exactly.
And
I don't want to do both.
Yeah. And I would say,
I don't want to do both.
I would say I don't want to do both either, but I love what I do, so
Okay.
and I love helping people, so I'm gonna stay on track to do both.
Okay.
And continue to do that. But you don't have to be both to be an investor. So the only reason why I got my license was to help her on the residential side with her selling properties, helping buyers and sellers, and in turn, she was showing me something, so I was like offering my time to help her do that, so she could in turn show me how to do real estate investing.
Okay.
But it wasn't reciprocated. Like, I was doing my part, she wasn't doing her part.
So it sounded like she was busy. She sounded like she had managed a lot.
Yeah, and she was waiting for me to follow up with her, and I'm like, you need me to help you with stuff. So I was checking in with her. I was like, look, this isn't working for me because I have other stuff going on too. I'm also a hairstylist, like part-time, but I can't really do that as much anymore. So, but at the time I was working full-time, and I was trying to help her, and then I was also a hairstylist. So
a lot.
Yeah, and I'm like, she's running around, doing whatever, and I said, look, we need to do a schedule. Like, I can commit this many hours a week, and I can do it like a few days a week, and then we can base it on that. So you send me what you need me to do, I'll do it. She never sent me stuff, so I had to follow up with her a lot, and it was just like, is this how it's supposed to go? You know? So, you, like I said though, you definitely don't need both, but it just happened now to be that way for me because I was trying to help her so I could learn more about real estate investing. So in order to do that, I needed to fill that need that she had with the residential side.
Okay.
So that's why I was doing it.
Okay.
But prior to that though, I had purchased a home, sold a home, and then purchased another home.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So you just made it sound like purchasing homes are very easy. You just made it sound like okay, for somebody like me that obviously, like I said in the beginning, I want to own properties, and so like my kids can have a generation of wealth. So like, how can I'm actually also really broke. So like, how can I begin to invest in real estate, and what other forms of real estate of investing are there? Like, I know I don't have to always just buy property. I heard that you can like literally invest in the property and put money down and all that stuff. So like, what are the steps to that? Like, what are the different type of investing in real estate?
So I think you asked me like 3 to 5 questions.
I did. I'm sorry.
No. It's fine. So let me keep track of. So the first one. No, purchasing a home is not easy.
Yeah.
However, I grew up with my mom, and she was a single mother of 3.
Okay.
And so there were struggles at times and stuff because my dad, he wasn't doing everything he needed to do after they were divorced and so forth. And probably before they were divorced. Yeah. But but he's actually one of my hair clients. I made a comment about him yesterday, and I was like, she's like, let that man rest in peace. He passed away 6 years ago now. So but yeah, so rest in peace to him. But I seen her struggle with different things, and at times I started working at age 15. Wow. I was a bagger at a giant grocery store, and I used to walk. It was like 30-minute walk to get there. Wow. And I would go after school.
Wow.
Yeah. So
at 15, you were in high school? You were a senior in high school?
I had to get to work. Yeah. No. I was a freshman in high school.
I'm tripping. Yeah, freshman.
So I think a sophomore or freshman.
It's been a long time.
Sophomore.
Yeah.
I'm 30 now, so yeah. But so I was I had to get a work permit in high school, and I started working at that age. So, and then one day I switched with my friend at the register, and they were like, oh, you did a good job on the register. And I was like, oh, I don't want to be a cashier or nothing. And they were like, well, we didn't ask you what you want to do. And I was like, well, I'm telling you, I don't want to be a cashier. So they put me in the cashier role, and I left like 2 months later because
didn't last long.
there was a little bit more flexibility and freedom with the bagger position because they didn't really keep tabs on where you were and stuff. So
Gotcha.
I was doing my work, but at the same time, it was a little bit more lax, you know?
Yeah.
So, anyways, going from that, I bought a car at, I was 15. So I saved my money and my mom's like, well, what are you saving for? You know, and I'm like, I don't know. And then I said, well, I guess I want a car. So I bought a car.
You've been making very good financial decisions since the age of 15. That's crazy.
Yeah, so, I've been doing hair. I got my cosmetology license in high school. My mom made me get it, but I was doing other people's hair since I was in middle school. So, and then so it's just been like I've had clients from when I was like literally that young into now. So yeah,
loyalty.
Yeah,
wow.
so
that says something about your skills too. That's crazy.
But yeah, so coming from that though, I always ask my mom like. Whenever she was about to purchase a house again, and I think it was 2008, and I was like, do you think I could buy a house? Like, I always ask questions like to find out how I can do something. I feel like a lot of people look at certain things and they're like,
it's hard.
They just assume it's hard,
yeah,
and don't inquire about like how can you actually get there and do it.
This is why you're here, so you can tell them how they can.
Yeah, so yes. My mom was like, well, I asked the loan officer and he said he thinks you can. So I was making, and then this is after the mortgage crisis and everything. So it was 2008 when my mom purchased, and then I went to college in Georgia, in Georgia State, and I had to come back to go to George Mason, and that's where I got my degree at. But when I came back, I had to make the decision, like, did I want to live on campus and have the campus life, I guess, or did I want to invest in purchasing a house? So I decided to purchase a house and live there.
Walk me through those steps real quick. Of purchasing a house. What did you get? Where's the money coming from? Yeah, I mean,
when I purchased that house, I was 21.
Okay.
And
most college kids are broke at 21.
Yeah.
I'm 26 and still broke. Yeah.
Yeah, but now there's programs out there where grant funds where they pay your down payment for you.
Ooh,
I didn't have that.
Okay.
So I purchased it. I had saved money throughout college. I always worked while I was in college too. Like literally, I worked where my mom worked in DC, and I would literally schedule my classes so I could fly home on Thursdays and work almost like one Friday a month.
Okay. So
I was doing that, and then also on my spring breaks and so forth, I would come back home, and I'll always have my hair clients lined up because they're like, well, when are you coming back? You know, so I always like save money. I'm not like a frivolous spender. So I just made the decision to purchase at that time, and I was making $15.69 an hour, and I purchased a house. Now it was $170 at the time, and now those houses are selling for like $250 something.
Okay.
But that's another good thing about it, because this market that we're in, where we live, homes always appreciate. Like the house I have now, I'm about to sell, actually, my townhouse. Every year it's at least went up $10,000. So it's always a good investment to have your own property because of, well, one, there's tax. You can write off the interest. If you're paying rent, you're not writing off anything. You're paying somebody else's mortgage for them.
Exactly.
And I mean, but some people, it's just a mindset thing. They get the shift sometimes, and then but there's, like I was saying to your question about having no money to purchase, there's
grants now.
Yeah, there are grant funds. So it's income based, but as long as you make under 100,000, like, you can literally have the whole down payment covered by grant money that you don't have to pay back.
What?
Yeah.
why don't you wait? You don't have to pay back.
No, you don't.
So
have
I can
to
go
pay
sign
back.
up for this and then get this money.
Yeah. Now your credit has to qualify, but I feel like people. I wish that younger people just knew the importance of credit, like, and how it can take you places. Really, to be honest.
Okay.
So, but the minimum credit score requirement for the grant funds is 620.
Okay. That's
So it's
bad.
not like
Yeah, it's not
hard
su-
to obtain,
yeah,
you know.
it's not
But
super
I've
high.
had people reach out to me like, "Oh yeah, I'm ready to buy now," and it's like their car notes like 5 months behind, their
Oh.
credit cards 3-4 months behind, and it's like you have to look at it like, why would a lender want to
Give you
lend
money.
you the money to purchase a whole house, and you can't make, you know, payments and be consistent with and now things happen for people and their situations and so forth, so it's not speaking to those unforeseen circumstances. I'm just talking about in general, like we have to be more diligent in our spending habits and practices and what we're purchasing.
Stop buying shoes.
Yeah, you don't need the Jordans.
Stop buying
You don't
shoes. Stop it. Stop it. Save that money.
Yeah. Is Jordan gonna pay your mortgage?
That's a fact. You're paying his mortgage. But
Yeah,
anyways, continue.
yeah. For probably for 50 properties or more. So, your other question about investing, I believe.
The different type
So,
of investments.
Yeah,
Investing,
but
sorry.
before I go into that,
Mhm.
like you can I always tell my clients, like whenever they're making their first purchase for their home, like a lot of people have the mindset like, oh well, I don't plan to live in this area more than 5 years, and it's like, you know how much value or equity you can have in your home if you purchase a house now and you're leaving in 5 years and to sell it or even hold on to it as your rental property. That could be your first rental.
Okay.
So always like let people know that there's like different options whenever you're ready to up and move somewhere else. You don't have to stay in that house. Like
Yeah.
I sold my house 2.5 years later and I made like 40,000. I actually took a picture of it because I was like, this is probably the most money I'm gonna have in my bank account. But it went to the down payment of my other house. So, and now I'm about to sell that one and I'll make about 80,000.
Nice. Wow.
So, you can invest in rental properties. You can invest in, I mean, if you're looking to do fix and flips, that's another form of investing. But really,
It's sorry, I didn't mean to
No,
cut you
you're
off, but like it's more affordable, if that's the right term. But is it more affordable to purchase and flip, or like do you like, and is the return investment under like purchase and flip, is that what's my question? Is that easier? Not easier. Is that which for somebody like me, like which is somebody that doesn't want to like do too much work and doesn't want to like be all the way invested in the property itself, but I just want to like purchase it and flip it. Like, is that by me doing that, will I get consistent return by like what is the also how long does that the return comes in?
it depends on where you're investing,
Uh-huh.
and it depends on. Now you mentioned not having to do a lot of work.
Yeah, I just want to put the money
you just want to
down.
lay down. And
Yeah,
like,
somebody else can do the
hey,
work.
Is that check coming in yet?
Yeah.
I ain't do nothing, but is that check coming?
Yeah.
No, so
like-
there's work on the front end.
Okay.
But if you're looking to invest in a property,
And just put the money down. Then
Put the money-
I'll let you guys
put
do
the
work.
money. I mean, there's people out there that you could. It's called wholesaling.
Uh-huh.
Like, so if you find a solid deal and you know what the property's worth and what it could potentially sell for as is value, and that an investor can still make money on it flipping it,
Exactly.
you can do an assignment. Basically, you would have the property under contract, and then it can be assignable to somebody else, so you can sell it to them. Like, let's say you secured a property under contract for $250,000, but you know that the property's worth $400,000 if it's renovated. Then you can put an assignment fee in there, and you would get paid at closing, and you didn't put anything out of pocket. But
But there's a but.
it's I mean, it's possible. People do it still, but it's a lot of work on the front end for you, but there's no money out of pocket involved for you. So,
so the risk is not really that.
Yeah, you don't have much risk in there, but you also have to do a lot of work on the front end, finding the property, finding an end buyer to purchase it, but less skin in the game for you.
Okay. Like you mentioned finding the property. How do I know if a house is like? How do I know if I buy this house, I'm gonna get a good return on investment? Like, what do I need to know about properties in order to like pick the right house, and then I continue to flip and flip, or I can live there and let it appreciate as time goes by? How did you know how to pick your houses?
You have to know your market you're in.
Okay.
And I decided to go the route of being educated first before stepping in and watching YouTube videos or something and then just going out here doing investing. So, and that's why I spoke about the lady earlier that I met that had done it, and I'm seeing her house that she did. It was beautiful, you know, and I'm like, okay, so she knows what she's doing, and that's why I offered to pay her to find out what she was doing. So, it didn't work out that way, and I ended up having to invest in education to get where am now, like to flip properties and so forth. But you have to know your market you're in, basically, to answer your question, so you can know what this property could potentially sell for in the area. It's probably good to have a good realtor that does know the market well,
such as yourself.
Yeah.
So if I'm investing,
well, yeah, such as me.
Yeah.
However, I'm an investor myself, so I've had people contact me like, "Hey, can you can you find me?" Well, they want to discuss real estate investing with me, how they can partner with me, and so forth. And they're like, "Yeah." I remember I talked to one lady, and she's like, "Yeah, well, we can." I said, "Well, what do you need from me? Like, what would you need from me?" She's like, primarily locating the properties," and I'm like, I'm an investor, so why would I locate properties for you when I would be, like, I should be finding them for myself?
Okay.
Because it's competitive here in this market. So, you could, but there are some agents out there that they love just staying on the other side of it, just doing regular residential contracts and so forth. So, but you find one that knows the market well, in that, so you can look at what areas you could potentially invest in.
Okay, so like you advise me, if I'm being an investor, it's better for me to link up with a real estate agent for my benefit, or
if you're an investor that doesn't know what you're doing.
Yes, because I don't know.
Yeah, so the first step would be you need to just know the market, you know the trends here. Like myself, I'm probably gonna flip for another year, and then I'm focusing on my buy and hold properties because the market's probably gonna shift a little bit. So because it always does, it's cyclical, you know. So
okay, so like I heard also, I don't know if you can like confirm if it's true or not, it's really hard to be like a first home buyer right now. So like
where'd you hear it from?
Just like articles, news, and like just reading, and then I don't know any of those
Programs.
Yeah, I don't know any of those articles and sources. So like I won't like
Was it on Facebook?
It was everywhere. Facebook, Instagram, and all that. So
did it
like,
also tell you need 20,000 to buy a house?
Exactly. So like all of this information.
Where does that come? I really want to know where it comes from, because a lot of people I talk to, they're like, yeah, I want to buy a house, but I know you need 20,000. I'm like, where did this magical 20,000 come from? Yeah.
So that's false.
Very false.
Okay.
I had a client last year. She purchased a condo in Alexandria. She came out of pocket for the whole transaction $2,000.
Stop playing.
So
how?
Because there's grant funds there.
Yeah.
So a lot of people, like, my goal is to always like try to inform people and let them know that, hey, there's money out there. I wish there was money out there when I bought both of my homes, but you know there wasn't. So, but that it's a really good opportunity right now while there's grant funds there. Like, use them. There's a program in Prince William County. Like, if you purchase a house in Prince William County, it's income based, so you have to be under a certain limit with your income, but they will literally give you up to 30% of the purchase price as your down payment, and that's when you don't have to pay back. Yeah. When you're a buyer, most people that have a family, they're looking for, hey, how far is my commute going to be to, most people here predominantly work in DC or up Northern Virginia. So they're looking at their commute, what forms of transportation do I have access to, like, that are readily convenient for them. And then they're looking at the schools, like, what's the school ratings, what's the crime levels out here, and those certain things they're doing on their mostly on their own, because as realtors we can't advise people of certain things. We can't steer them. And
why can't you?
Oh, because of laws.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're not supposed to, like,
conflict of interest.
Yeah, we can't be like, hey, I wouldn't buy here,
okay.
But check your local crime ratings in this area. Check this and stuff like that. That's what.
So background information matters, really.
Yeah. So, but whenever buyers, if you're coming from another state, moving to Virginia or Maryland or DC, you're looking at those things beforehand before coming. So you just kind of want to have the mindset of what the buyer is going to be looking for in the home, and then that goes into what type of finishes you're doing in the home as well. So whenever you're rehabbing a property. But you always have to look at those things. So I can't say if it's better to invest in Maryland.
Literally,
DC.
you can't say.
I invest in Virginia and Maryland, but I'm only licensed in those states as a realtor. But I don't even like driving in DC, so I know I'm not. I'm closing on a property in Stafford that I'm going to be flipping. I'm closing on it tomorrow, and the guy's like, yeah, well, we're in DC. I'm like, what? I don't want to drive up to DC to go sign these papers. So he said, well, somebody can come down to you. And I was like, okay, great. But I was like, look, dude, I don't even like driving in DC. So I try to avoid it at all costs.
Okay. And then it's like, I mean, you said you are licensed in Maryland and VA. Is it cheaper in one state versus the other? Does that play a part too?
You have what's called reciprocity when you're in DC, Maryland, and Virginia. So you just are required, once you get your license in one state, then you're just required to go take the state exam in the other state if you want to be licensed there as well. Both honestly around the same cost.
Okay, but like property wise too, like is it cheaper? Properties? Yeah, is it cheaper to purchase in VA versus Maryland, like, or just housing?
It's more competitive here.
Okay.
So maybe in Maryland, but there's competitive markets in Maryland too.
Okay.
I don't know anything about DC though, to be honest, because I don't plan to ever invest there. Maybe I should, because I mean, there's a lot of properties that they're, and unfortunately they're doing this regentrification thing, but I just don't know much about the market, so that would be more risky for me to invest
Jump
there.
in and not knowing what you're getting yourself into. Okay, you mentioned competition a lot. Like, break down to competition. What does that mean?
Well, you have people here, like in this area, that there's newbies coming out trying to do real estate investing. They don't know their numbers. They're not educated on what they need to do and to make sure the deal is successful and that there's a profit at the end. So they overpay for these properties. So you're in competition with people that basically don't know what they're doing, and they're willing to bid higher because they still think there's profit in there. But at a certain point, it's a no deal because your expenses exceed what the ARV is going to be, which is the after repair value.
So all right. Word. And like, what are the risk factors in investing? How can I lose here? Because I'm not trying to lose. So what do I need to watch out for?
I would say there's risk with everything.
In life,
but I would say there's a lot of like I said, I took the route of getting educated. So there's a whole class on red flags in real estate investing. So
Okay.
I know what to look for, you know, and what isn't going to be a good deal. And then sometimes you have to walk away from certain deals because, you know, it's not going to be profitable in. But you're like, I know I really want this property and stuff like that. But at some point you're just like, okay, let it go and keep moving on to the next one. You know,
there's always the next one too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's always the next opportunity. So, and then I would say that people always need a place to live. We always incorporate different exit strategies whenever we're looking to potentially flip a property.
Okay.
You have to look at, hey, what is this property going to potentially rent for in the event I can't sell it? Like if the market shifts, which is unpredictable sometimes, it's like, hey, what can I rent this out as? And then what are the rent comps in the area to determine if I need to keep it longer, can I do that?
Okay.
So with purchasing a piece of property, it's going to hold its value. So I don't really see that much risk in it, to be honest. Like whether you had to hold on to the property a little longer until you had to sell it, but you're not losing money if you have a tenant in there covering that expense for the mortgage if you had a hard money lender that you used, and because you have to make a monthly payment to them. And if you had to sell it for a little less, then maybe you lose a few $1,000s with selling it that way. But I don't see
much of a risk.
Much losing in property purchasing.
Okay. All right. So like I got a few more questions.
Okay.
I won't keep you here too long, but also like I'm losing my train of thought. I'm sorry. Why invest in real estate versus me investing in stocks? Like, why did you invest in real estate versus like stocks?
I don't think you can buy stocks at a discount. You're making it your business as a real estate investor, but at the same time, you're also helping somebody out of a situation. So if you're getting properties off the market, you're providing some type of value to that person that you're buying the property from.
Okay.
It might be hard for them because it's their home and they're losing it in a way, but there's something in it for them whenever you're helping them out of that situation, but it's also a gain for yourself. So it's a win-win for everybody. I never looked into stocks to honestly, I felt like it was too much to study before getting involved in it. Real estate investing, it is, studying as well, but I like numbers and I like helping people too. So with those two things, like both are involved in real estate investing.
Okay, it's a bigger passion than just like money and like stocks coming in.
Yes.
Okay. Also, like I remember you said that the real estate market is always shifting. How often does it shift, and like how do you know when to like maneuver accordingly to the shift? Like, do you have to pay attention? Like, what do you pay attention to?
I pay attention to. I can't say how often it shifts.
Okay.
But
is it random?
It can take a dip randomly, but sometimes when you change administrations, maybe like a year or so after that, it will take a shift at some point. So but I look at, hey, what are the interest rates at now? Like, how many houses are being sold on a month-by-month basis? And if you have a solid lender, like a regular mortgage lender, like they'll know like some of these trends, so you can correspond with them as well, or look into research yourself, but you really don't know, so I guess that is a risk of it. But like I said, people always need a place to live. We're local here in Woodbridge, Virginia. We're local to all these military bases.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah,
perfect.
And then so people always need rentals. So there's always a way to, save or not have as much risk if you know what you're doing when you're investing initially.
Okay. All right. Okay, I'm kind of convinced. I'm gonna start buying shoes. I'm gonna start saving my money, and I'm gonna put it into real estate. Okay, and before we go and we leave, I want you to, tell everybody, what's the best side, or like what's the most proud thing about like that you take from real estate investing? Besides helping people, obviously you're a great person. You want to help people, but like, what do you enjoy the most about real estate investing and being a real estate agent too?
I would say that I do love helping people, so my goal is always to be the realtor that I didn't have.
Nice. Wow, what an answer.
No, I really try to be. I wasn't told about, because I find a lot of realtors don't even get themselves involved in the lending side, and I'm like, how are you going to best advise your client and help them through this process if you're not abreast of what's going on that side of it? And then the contract could potentially fall apart on the end too. There's some people that they will literally, the lender tells you, hey, don't apply for any new credit once you put in a mortgage application and you're approved. Pre-approved. But I've had people come to me, hey, I applied to refinance my car. What? So you can't do those things because it could cost you the contract, and you won't be able to purchase the house. So I always try to advise my clients hey, but they make their decision on their own in the end. But I'm like, hey, this is what a FHA loan is. I didn't know these things.
Can
this
you
is
break
a conventional
it down, FHA,
loan.
real quick?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
So honestly, the acronym is escaping me right now, but it's basically a government-backed loan. So they charge you, they give you a little bit of a lower interest rate, but they're charging you what's called a PMI, is a premium mortgage insurance. Okay. So that's because in the event you default on the loan, they've already collected some money from you in the beginning. So, but it does help people that if you have a car note, you got credit cards and stuff like that, because your debt to income ratio is higher with they allow a higher limit for your debt to income ratio than a conventional loan, which is the other option. So for traditional lending. So I always try to encourage my clients to go conventional if they can, but if they can't, they can do FHA. It's okay. You can refinance in the at some point in time, but just helping them know that piece of it, and then also how much they're going to be coming out of pocket for different things that are involved in the purchase of the house. Okay. So I just try to be as involved as I can because I want to provide the best service to my clients. So I remember when I was buying both of my houses, I was the only one contacting the lender hey, because my ratios were tight. So I had to specifically look at, hey, how much are the property taxes for this house? How much is the HOA monthly? Because literally I was treading a thin line with what I could qualify for at my max because it's a competitive market, and I had to make a stronger offer. And
it's like bidding.
My realtors, and they're just like, oh, well, what can you afford, and then they just go based on the pre-approval letter. But I always like to get involved and talk to the lender if my client is working with their own lender, and then also like to stay involved in general if they're working with my lender too. So I feel like it really does help them make a better decision whenever they're looking at purchasing a home. And then far as investing, I find that I literally like picking out designs and what the concept's going to be, the layout and stuff of the house, what I can change it to be, and just finding different creative ways that I can go in and help somebody with their situation, but I can also benefit from it too. Okay.
All right. So before you go and before we cut this off, I have one last question. What benefits do I get by being a homeowner? Just being a homeowner, period, without flipping or anything like that. Do I get special benefits from the government?
Well, one, if you purchase and you qualify for the program, then you're getting the down payment assistance. So you're not having to come out of pocket the down payment for the purchase your home, and you don't have to pay that money back.
Okay.
You're also, whenever you're coming to do your taxes, you can write off the interest that you're paying on that loan you have for your mortgage.
Okay.
If you're renting, you can't do that. Like, you're just paying rent monthly, and it's literally going nowhere.
Okay.
But whenever you're making your mortgage payment, you're paying some of the interest that you could write off at the end of the year, but you're also paying down on the principal of that home. So at some point, you're going to have a decent amount of equity in that house.
Nice.
And then you can choose to leverage that and do something else with it.
Okay.
There's different loans that you could take out to invest in another property if you want to.
With the house that you already have?
Yes.
Okay, nice.
Once you've reached a certain level of equity in your house.
Nice. And what level is that? Is this
for most lenders, it's 70% of what the value is.
Wow.
So, and then you're also, to be honest, when I bought my house, I rented out a room. So they were paying like half of the mortgage for me.
Yeah.
I think I was paying like $600. They were paying $450, and that was my mortgage. So, I mean, I had the utilities.
Yeah,
and then,
all that. But
and then I had, at my other townhouse, I rented out 2 rooms. And so, and then when one left, I was like, where'd my money go? And I was like, oh yeah, I forgot she moved out. So, but it was kind of cool because I'm like, I can use those funds for other things.
Yeah.
And then I'm helping them out because they're having
a place to live.
They have their own space. Nobody's getting in anybody's way because I made sure I bought a house that would be big enough to fit
everybody.
3 people.
Yeah. Nice.
And so yeah, they're paying 60% of it. I'm paying 40, and I'm able to do other things. They're able to do other things.
No, nice. Are those tax write-offs sweet for you at the end of the year?
I wasn't tax writing those. But for the interest,
yeah.
Nice. I mean, like I said, you can't write it off if you're renting. You can't write anything off.
Yeah.
And then you can't. That doesn't report to establish, like, make a stronger credit history because you're not paying to installment loan. You're paying a landlord.
Okay. All right. So, like, before we officially cut off, I keep saying that, but I'm gonna put you on the spot. This is all up to you, though.
Okay.
You can give your information out if people want to reach out and search more information, and like they can reach out to you and then talk to you, so we can help not just me but somebody else become investing and point them in the right direction. But that's all up to you, though. So whatever information, whatever you give out, whatever happens after this, it's on you. Okay. Just letting you know.
Well, my information's out there, so it's fine. My email is TalithiaMorris@gmail.com, and I'll spell my first name because, it's TALITHIA, and last name is Morris, so MORRIS@gmail.com. My phone number is 703-344-6762. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, and I'm on LinkedIn as well.
And it's just Talithia Morris, all of it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And if you hashtag Get Your Keys with T, you'll probably see me up there.
Oh, she got her own hashtag. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go. Well, that's pretty much it. Thank you, Talithia. And people, I hope you learned something and put your money where it's gonna last you longer. Because I'm gonna start doing that. So thank you. This is the Jiggy Show.
I'm gonna check on him, make sure he's on it.
Yeah, true, facts. So we're gonna a year later we're gonna come back and have this conversation.
Now we're coming back in 6 months.
All right. This is the Jiggy Show, episode 12. Thank you for tuning in. Actually, we forgot a very important piece of information where it actually can help all of us even more. Talithia forgot to mention, and shame on her. But Talithia, please let these people know that you also are an author, and tell a little bit about your book too.
So, yeah, I don't know how I forgot that. I'm sorry. Yeah, it is shame on me.
She does so many things. Slip that up her mind.
Yeah, so I recently had a book published. It's titled Consider It Sold. It is actually a guide if you're looking to sell your home in the near future.
Perfect.
So it's a shorter read. So and I wish I had a copy. I forgot it. Actually, I didn't know I was going to be on video either. So, maybe that's why I didn't have it with me. But definitely, and then on the back, I have the the preferred vendors that I work with. My photographer's on there, my home inspector, my mortgage lender,
You're really helping
my title
people.
company, as well as my go-to contractor. So that information is on the back of the book, and like I said, it's just a useful tool and guide to help you through the process if you're preparing to sell your home in the future.
Wow. Okay, so how can we find the book? Where's the book?
You can reach out to me with one of my forms of contact I gave you earlier, and I can send you a free copy.
Free.
Yeah, or I have an ebook as well, so we can download it, and I can send it to you, and it can be downloaded.
Wow. Thank you, Talithia.
Right,
Making the world a better place. All right. We're out. Again and again.
Okay.
How'd you hear about a book?
Yeah. That's a very important piece of information.
Is this thing on?